everyone, InfiniteCaz here, and welcome to another video. Today, I'll be talking about 5 Splatoon 2 maps I hope to see return in Splatoon 3. There are a lot of fantastic stages that were added into Splatoon 2, and I want to focus on 5 that I hope get another chance to shine. Keep in mind that I will only be talking about maps that were introduced in Splatoon 2, just to make things a bit simpler. And also, these 5 maps are not necessarily my favourite in the game currently, but ones I think would be a good addition to Splatoon 3. With that being said, please like and subscribe as it really helps me out, and let's get right into it. Inkblot Art Academy was present in the game at launch, and is one of those simple yet enjoyable stages to play on. Aesthetically, I don't think it's anything spectacular. However, I do like the theming of an art school, and like all maps in the game, the stage is crammed full of small details. For example, an easel on the ground, just in front of the platforms on either side of mid. It's a lot of fun walking around the stage, and picking up on small touches you usually miss when playing a regular match. The stage is set between 2 school buildings, and also has a pond on either side. Since we know that not all maps in Splatoon 3 will match the initial aesthetic, I don't worry about selecting maps for the game that look run down and more chaotic, so to say. I do think this stage will blend in quite well with the maps we know about right now, but maybe it could do with a spruce up to make it stand out more. In terms of how the map plays, I find Inkblot very enjoyable. It's the 4th biggest map in the game in terms of inkable turf, but basically tied with Port Mackerel and Skipper Pavilion. But it doesn't feel empty in the slightest. When you spawn, you can head right to the majority of the map or left, which can be useful to flank or apply additional pressure. The stage is easy to navigate, and doesn't change that much between ranked modes, aside from the platform here or ramp there. I think both shorter and longer ranged weapons can be effective here. There are some good sniping spots, but nothing that's particularly unfair. I would tweak a few things if it was to be added. First, I think some more walls could be introduced to help the zipcaster be more effective, as well as adding in a way to flank on the left hand side to help out shorter ranged weapons. I think in Turf War, Splat Zones and Clan Blitz, the level above your platform should be more easily accessible, to make retreating or pushing in easier. And I would like to see the middle and Splat Zones changed, as I dislike the tower in the middle, as it gives the defending team a huge advantage. Aside from these few changes, I really enjoy playing on Inkblot, and I think it would be great to see return. It's a nice simple map that doesn't have any fancy gimmicks attached, and I rarely get frustrated when playing on it. However, there should be changes made to accommodate for the new features, such as the spawn mechanic and specials. I think Port Mackerel is the best example of how to update a stage to make it so much better, so I have confidence in the Splatoon team that they will not disappoint. While not aesthetically the most interesting, I think Sturgeon Shipyard is one of the most well-rounded and enjoyable maps in the game, and that is consistent across all game modes. The stage is a large ship that's in the process of being constructed, although I don't think that's super obvious from a quick look at the stage in game. You can see cranes above the map and other ships in the background. In the middle of the map, there is a swinging pendulum, and you can attach a sprinkler to it for some easy coverage and a tad bit of pressure. I feel like this map has fewer hidden details overall than other maps, but I really dig the industrial setting and think it's a good fit for Splatoon 3. Terrain-wise, there is a good mix of high and low areas, and 4 platforms that rise and fall, going from horizontal to vertical. In Rainmaker, those ones near spawn can be used to take a shortcut through the left, but this needs to be timed, otherwise it's a dead end. I think Sturgeon offers a good mix of ways to approach mid, and I feel like I don't get unfairly locked out because of this. The middle of the map is a mainly flat space with a raised section in the middle, which is utilised in Splat Zones. In Clan Blitz, the basket is in the back of the pit, which I think is a good placement. However, you can use the rising platforms and rush the basket from above, which I do find a bit annoying. However, these are nitpicks, and Sturgeon Shipyard may be one of the few maps I don't have an issue with in any ranked mode. If it returned, I would like to see the ship it's based on be finished, or at least further along in its construction. This could be shown in some terrain changes, like higher walls or a new level to fight on, as well as new scenery and colour choices. I think there are parts of the map that feel quite empty, mainly the area just outside spawn, so this could be made smaller to shorten the time needed to get to mid and make better use of the space for the objective. I hope nothing is drastically changed though, as I think the Splatoon team really hit the nail on the head when it comes to a consistent and fair map that can be utilised by any weapon in the game. If you have seen some of my slightly older videos, you know I talked about why Manta Maria is my favourite map in the game, and this still stands. I love its theming, and I think it has a very fair layout on all modes, and overall is very enjoyable to play on. The map is a decommissioned ship based on the Santa Maria, and has 3 large masts that the majority of the action take place on and around. There is a good range of terrain and places that backliners can use to pick off opponents effectively, and the grates and mid allow for some interesting interactions. The stage is surrounded by water, and I love the small touches that bring the ship to life, on stage and in the background. It's really just a great map to play on, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. To improve the map for Splatoon 3, I think I would open up the straight that you use in Tower Control, Rainmaker and Clan Blitz, as it's a choke point and can feel unfair to fight on in many instances. I would also adjust some of the changes in terrain, especially the pits right in front of spawn, as I think the drop off is a bit sudden and it's easy to get stuck down there in a bad situation. I would also prefer if they made the Splat Zones map have a single zone in mid rather than 2 smaller ones, as double zones can be neutralised much easier and make games drag out. I would love to see the ship a bit more run down in Splatoon 3, as being decommissioned and used as a battle stage would naturally cause some damage. I think making slight visual tweaks to returning stages can add in so much more depth to Splatoon, and make the maps more distinguishable from game to game. Wahoo World is up there in stage theming, and I think it's very fun to play on to boot. Wahoo World is clearly based on a theme park, and is also on a boardwalk. There are rides and shops in and around the stage, most noticeably the roller coaster and Ferris wheel just outside the boundary, which really add to the immersion. The most important visual cue is the timer in mid, which in certain modes will show when the bridge leading into the centre is expanding or retracting, which can be very important if you are trying to coordinate a push. Behind Piranha Pit, Wahoo World is the second biggest map, and you certainly feel that when playing it. The middle area has 2 levels, with the bottom section rotating around, while the upper has the aforementioned bridges that cycle every 30 seconds between opening out and retracting. The other parts of the map are curved, and slowly climb up to spawn, the highest point. I always enjoy playing on Wahoo World, but parts of it do feel a bit empty, and I don't like how the bridges don't expand in some ranked modes, which makes it more frustrating to play, especially for shorter ranged weapons. To improve the map for Splatoon 3, I would vary the terrain a bit more. I play a lot of longer ranged weapons, and there are not many good places to camp at, especially with a charger. A lot of the map is quite flat, and it's very large as well. I would like to see either the flatter bits be modified, or the map shrunk in size, to make it feel less empty in many spaces, especially the area just outside spawn, which never sees use. Aesthetically wise, I don't think I would change anything though. I really love the style of Wahoo World, and don't care to see it in a different aesthetic. But as usual, I would enjoy seeing some minor tweaks, like a new coat of paint for the roller coaster, or new food stalls dotted about the map. The last map to be added into Splatoon 2, Skipper Pavilion, is a very unique map with superb theming. What's special about this map is it's not purely symmetrical, but instead features lateral symmetry, as both teams spawn at the top, so you either get the right hand side or the left hand side. This means that the team on the right has a small advantage, as Inklings are right-handed, so chargers can use cover and peek easier, as they don't have to be as visible when utilising cover. A similar issue was in Splatoon 1's Salt Spray Rig, but that map had other issues that are not prevalent on Skipper, and I don't really feel like the design makes it unfair for the left-hand side. The map is designed after an Asian pavilion, and houses a temple theatre that appears to be undergoing a restoration. It's described as a popular tourist spot, and when visited, it's said to give them positive energy to win turf war battles. At the bottom of the map, there is a cancel garden, with raked gravel on the ground. Near this are two statues of mud skippers, which parody ones in real life. In the stage, there are also spas and rooms filled with jellyfish. I think my favourite thing about the stage aesthetically is in Splatfest mode. The pavilion at night looks gorgeous with the lanterns lighting up the area. I don't really know if I would make any tweaks for Splatoon 3, but maybe aesthetically, the construction could be completed on the temple, which could be used to shake up the terrain a bit. Since the indoors part of the map is almost never used, I think it would make sense for it to be removed, or made more accessible, so it's not useless anymore. Apart from that, I don't really know how much I would change, as I think the map is really well designed, and almost all of the space is well utilised. I think I would make the stage slightly shorter, as in a mode like Splat Zones, it can be quite annoying to get back to the objective, but like other maps on this list, it really is a nitpick. So that's 5 maps I would love to see in Splatoon 3, why I think that, and what I would do to improve them if they do come back. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. What Splatoon 2 map do you want to see return? Let me know down in the comments. With that being said, please like and subscribe as it really helps me out, and I will see you all next time. Bye!